it's time for our Tech Tuesday segment. This is when we talk about the latest gadgets that you might consider buying, and we talk about whether or not one product is better than the other. On today's program, we'd like to talk to you about televisions and specifically smart TVs. Should you spend as much money as it takes to buy the latest television on offer, the top of the line variant? Or should you settle for something that is less, that gives you features that will keep you satisfied? In fact, should you change the approach that you have to buying a television? Joining me to talk about this is Shubham Gupta, founder and chief editor of techquark.com. Thank you so much, Shubham, for taking the time. And I want to start with that question. People look at phones and they buy phones for a period of 3 years, but people buy televisions for much longer. Should that change? Because you have quite a few televisions, good televisions available for between 30 and 40,000 rupees that may not give you the glitz of the more expensive televisions, but they're good in their own right, yeah?
That's correct, Alex. So, that is slowly changing now. Earlier, people used to have TVs for 10 years, 20 years, but now that's changing, and the new gen is even changing their TVs in just 5 years. And the two main reasons which I see for that is, first, Indians are very price sensitive or cost sensitive. And second is the technology is evolving faster than ever. Just quickly talking about the first point, there is always a joke in the car industry, "Deti kitta hai?" Like we are always obsessed about the price, the cost, our mileage of the car. And Indians are very smart buyers and consumers, and they always like to closely measure the worth of the product and see how much they are paying for. So they want the best product in their budget. So that's one of the reasons why they are opting for budget TVs, which they want to change every few years. And second thing is the technology is evolving faster than ever now. And if they buy an expensive TV and they plan to use it for 10 years, say, or 15 years, it will soon get outdated, even if it's an expensive TV. So the shelf life of a TV has been reduced from 10 to 15 years to 5 years, which is still more than that of a mobile phone, where Gen X, the latest gen, kind of changes every 2 years. Just to give you a quick example on that, I myself have an Android smart TV, and it's just 3 years, and I already feel this is the time to upgrade. Because my TV doesn't have a Bluetooth file. So me and my wife cannot simultaneously connect to our TV to hear music or to movies, and we have a small toddler. So you can understand that it's a must-have technology for us. So we are already thinking to upgrade it, and in just 3 years, when we have purchased our TV. So definitely the time duration of the smart TVs or the TVs has reduced. Our parents used to keep it for 10, 20 years. I remember we had that shutter TVs, but now the smart TVs are fast moving, and I think most of the people are changing it every 5 years.
I think a lot of the 90s kids will know what I say when you say that you had to smack the CRT monitor a few times for it to work sometimes, right? But those days are gone. What I'm getting from you is that it might actually make sense to buy a cheaper TV. But if you're talking about specifications, Shubham, and this is where it gets interesting, right? What does the top of the line television offer you that the budget TV, if you're talking about even a 50-inch high definition, or I think you can also get a 4K for up to 40,000 rupees, right? What does it offer you that these TVs, the budget TVs, don't offer you?
Right. So, I myself am using a budget TV, and the main reason is definitely the expensive TVs or the high-end TVs provide much better picture quality. But at the end of the day, you have to decide if it's worth the price. Definitely, you will see the difference between the budget TV and the smart and the expensive TV when you keep it next to each other. But if you use it in daily use separately, will you see that much of a difference, or will it be a groundbreaker? That's up to the person to decide. Having said that, there is an exception to that. We have OLED TVs in the market, which are just a different story. They are organic LED TVs. Where the contrast is very good, the blacks are quite black, the motion blur is quite less. So if you're going for OLED TVs, definitely the picture quality would be much, much better than any of the budget TVs. But they kind of, a decent OLED TV starts at around 1.5 lakhs. But if you are looking at a lesser budget, less than 1 lakh, I think the budget TVs are doing quite good. And that's the reason why companies like Xiaomi, OnePlus, TCL, and Viu are able to challenge the big players in the market like Samsung and LG. Talking about the sound also, sound is an important point, but I feel you can buy any TV as expensive it can be. You always won't be satisfied with the sound, and you always have to get a sound bar with it. Now we'll say, how do I allocate that budget for the extra sound bar? So there's the place where you can go smart. You can buy a budget TV, and for the money you save, you can buy a sound bar and plug it with it. The total cost would be same as an expensive TV which you will buy from LG and Samsung. So I do see there would be a difference in the picture quality, but is it worth the price? That's what a consumer can decide.
Also get into, and I like your idea for a sound bar, right? A lot of people that I've spoken to have also said that this is something that they consider doing. Sound bars, of course, is something that perhaps we can talk about the next time, because there's a wide range that you can choose from here as well. But
Right.
let's talk about the various options within the budget segment. What,
Right.
according to you, stands out? And I think a lot of people are now preferring to go for the 50+ inch television, because that is now very, very easily available and not necessarily very expensive. So if it allows you to do that, your home, then you can go for that. What are the best options available?
Correct. So that also reminds me, earlier when we were young, we used to see a 21-inch TV and we
Yeah.
used to say, wow, it's so big TV. Now the 50-inch is the new standard. And talking about the best TV in the budget range, there are great TVs from Xiaomi, OnePlus, TCL, and Vivo. But I would recommend the Xiaomi's Mi TV 4X series, which has a 50-inch display, and it retails around 36,000. So under 36,000, you get a 4K HDR 50-inch TV from Xiaomi, great panel. It has a 10-bit display, is powered by Android 9 version. It has a quad-core processor of 64-bit and 2 GB RAM and 8 GB storage. So you will just see how I'm giving the specs of this TV like I would do for a phone. And that's why, because the difference between the TVs and the phones is gradually decreasing, not just their shelf life, but TVs are kind of competing with the mobile phones, where you on a TV you can do anything. You can even do a video call to your family. And just one more thing to note before you buy a budget TV or expensive TV, I will highly recommend that you buy an Android TV. LG and Samsung make great TVs, but they use their own in-house OS, the Tizen OS and the Web OS. They are great, but they are not as smart, as functional, and as productive as an Android can be. Sony does have few of the Android TVs, but mostly the budget players like Xiaomi, OnePlus, TCL, and Vivo, and similar players use Android TV.
Now, what if one of my viewers says that they want to spend top dollar? They want to buy something that will give them the impression that they are in Alaska when they're watching a Nat Geo presentation, right? Or some documentary presentation. What would you suggest that they should go for? What is the best option and why?
Right. So we all love drooling over the Reliance Digital store, where we see a massive screen with such beautiful colors and we say, oh, we want that. So if you are that person, you are a perfectionist, you are looking for the best picture quality whatsoever. As I said before, OLED TVs is the way to go. They have self-lighting pixel and are based on the organic LED technology. The leaders are LG, Samsung, and Sony, but to recommend, I will recommend the LG G1, which is a 55-inch OLED TV. Absolutely phenomenal display. Has a peak brightness of 900 nits, which makes it one of the brightest display in any of the OLED TVs. It has great power under the hood, great connectivity, and great features. Again, as I said, with great quality comes with great price as well. It's retailing around 1.5 lakh on Amazon, but on a sale, you can get it for a bit cheaper. Having said that, if you're also looking for another option and you are a Sony fan, Sony comes with a Sony Bravia A80J, which also is a 4K OLED TV and kinds of retails at the same price of 1.5 lakhs. So again, if you're a perfectionist, you want everything perfect, you want that deep blacks, those great contrasts, the motion blurs, you are a gamer, great refresh rate, LG G1 and the Sony Bravia A80J is the TV you should be buying.
Thank you so much for joining in, Shubham. Pleasure speaking with you. And I'm sure that you've narrowed down the options for quite a few of my viewers.
Thank you.